name is Jan Clark, and I am a financial secretary treasurer. And I'm just here to give you some information on the duties of being a financial secretary treasurer. It's what my journey as being a financial secretary treasurer. I was elected to this position back in 2018 as the first female in my local to receive this position. And so I hold the financial secretary treasurer as well as the recording secretary uh, position here. I work for the ILA local 1408. This is a longshoreman local, and we were established back in 1936. So it was wonderful to get this job. Back in 2018 is when I came in office, and we normally would have to be in office every 3 years unless there is something that happens and maybe we may have another election. So we did end up having another election, and this is my second term. In this term, I will go for 3 years and then run again. So with our local, in order to be a financial secretary treasurer, I had to run for the position and I had to qualify. Like I said, I have had several other positions in the past, as well as I used to be the executive secretary for the local. So now I am the financial secretary treasurer. And our qualifications were that we only had to be able to work into the craft at least 2 years. And of course, you had to be a member. So, and it's good to have at least 700 hours because 700 hours means you are a qualifying member with our local. But like I said, all locals, they have different qualifications, but that was ours. So once I went through the election and I won the position, that was in December. In January, as of January the 1st is our first day. January the 2nd, we get started, and then we have to go through an installation. Once the installation is done, you are basically on your own because according to our bylaws, there is no officer to infringe on another officer's position. So with the financial secretary treasurer's job, one of they do give you a few guidelines. One of the things that is one of the best things, and I call them the Bibles of this position. This is our local bylaws, and it gives me all the information that I needed and to be in this position and everything that was required of me. So local bylaws, and then there's the international constitution, and this also gives financial secretaries and all officers all of their duties and responsibilities, not only towards the local, but if we have any obligations to the international, this gives us the information, and this is our go-to. And then we have the master contract book, and this is pertaining to everything that we need as far as the actual contract of the local. Like I mentioned before, I'm also the recording secretary, and I will do a video on being recording secretary second. But right now, I just wanted to do the word financial secretary, a treasurer's position at this time. Like I said, in our local bylaws, we have rules and regulations that we follow. And I'm going to just go through our rules and regulations, and this way I can stay on track to let you know what are some things that I normally have to do. So our financial secretary, we collect and receive all monies that are paid to the local, and we deposit that in the bank in any investment accounts that we have. And we have to make sure that we have true and accurate account of all transactions and should make reports thereon to the auditing committee, the executive board, and to the local. So yes, I receive all monies as a financial secretary, whether it be checks coming in from vendors, to shipping companies, monies coming in from membership, and I have to make sure that all of that money, whether it's collected or spit out, is recorded into our computer system and our accounting system, and the We have a CPA and an accountant that comes in, which is required by our local to have one. They come in and they do their monthly reports. We have a auditing committee that consists of 3 auditors elected, and they come in and they do their report. And anytime if the membership feels as though they want to come in and view the books, they'll be able to come in and view the books as well. So I do have that backup system, and I have to report once a month to the local, also to give them a report of all monies that have been collected as well as spent, and answer any of the membership's questions as well, because this is the local's money and it is the members' money. The finance secretary should sign all checks drawn upon this local. As the financial secretary treasurer, I am required to sign all of the checks that are drawn off of the local. As a matter of fact, we have 3 signature people that signs the checks. It is the finance secretary treasurer, the president, and the business agent. That is required through our local. And I have to also, I get those checks back just to make sure that they have been signed before giving out to anyone. The financial secretary shall, at the first membership meeting in every month, make a report to the local of all monies collected and paid out. So I make a financial treasurer's report, and which has been reconciled by the CPA, and that has also been checked by the auditing committee. And then I go before the membership meeting the first of every month for us, and I give them the report. And if they have any questions at that time, they can ask me, or they also have freedom to come in the office and check the books, or talk to me one-on-one if they'd like. The financial secretary shall pay all regular expenses of the local and such additional expenses as may be approved by the membership. So yes, I paid all of the bills. Also, as this in this position, you're known as the office manager. So I have to make sure I cut payroll for the officers and staff and the vendors. I also have to just make sure to keep the lights on, keep the water on, make sure all of the bills and everything is paid and accounted for. The financial secretary shall have further powers as are usual to this office. So what that means is, by being the financial secretary of a union, a longshoreman union, we are, once again, the office manager. I also have to answer the telephones. I also have to hire the members, because we are a dispatch union hall. So sometimes I have to hire longshoremen to go to work. I do employment verifications, and I work one-on-one with vendors, or one-on-one with the membership. I have a service window if they need to come up to the window and pay their dues, or get paperwork signed off on, or whatever it is that they need. I am here to service them. So I'm not just in here doing financial crunching numbers all day long. I do have to work in that capacity as serving the membership, or the vendors, or the shipping companies as well, as it allows. The financial secretary should use his own car when transacting business. So I do use my own car when going back and forth to the bank, and I get $50 a month for gas. And that's been around for a long time, but I get $50 a month because I go, if I have to go back and forth to the bank to make deposits or check on any business, I do get that. Financial secretary treasurer is empowered to negotiate, lease, or purchase vehicles on behalf of the local union, with final approval coming from the membership. So we do have, it is my job to make sure that the president, if he would like a car leased to him, that he has his lease car. I take care and make sure the Vice president has a leased car, and the business agent who's on call 24/7. His car, make sure his car is leased, make sure that the registration is up to date, make sure that they have their tags, make sure that they have their insurance, make sure that the insurance also on the entire company. I have to make sure that is up to date and in order. I have to make sure the insurance for the local is updated and up to order. I have to make sure that the bonding insurance is updated and up to order and paid for. So those are part of my duties as well. Upon the election of another finance secretary treasurer, the incumbent finance secretary treasurer shall be retained with pay for a period of 30 days. Now, what this means is normally when a financial secretary comes in, a new finance secretary, the previous finance secretary would normally come in for 30 days, work with the new financial secretary just to make sure that we are up to speed and ready to do the job, because this job entails more than just numbers. It entails that we know the bylaws, and that we know the international constitution, and that we know some of the things that go on with the master contract that are affiliated with our office. And so those are the little things that we may need to know, because we do have to pay certain dues that go to the international or that go to the district office. And so those are things that we know. And this is when the person that was before us comes in. However, if for some reason that doesn't happen, like with me, that didn't happen, but I was fortunate enough to have our accounting and CPA firm that works with us. They came in and they trained me my 30 days and just stuck with me, and they continue and stick with me, which is great. So I was able to be trained by the best. I consider the best, because they had already been with our company for several years. I know over 10 years, so I was trained by them. So if for some reason that person before you is not there, don't fret. There's always going to be someone there that's going to be able to help you along the way to make sure you're up to speed, as well as the international, your district may have some type of training for the financial secretary, and your president sending you to those things, keep you up to speed as to what's going on. The Department of Labor having training, whatever training you can get is great, and trust me, you will have it. So hey, I was able to, like I said, get that training from them. Our accounting, her name is Joanne Fowler. She was able to come in and help me with coming up to speed. And like I said, they had been with us for over 10 years, so they knew pretty much everything. And if I had questions, this is when these training courses will come into play. And also I got to know a few other secretary treasurers from other locals and can ask them questions as well. They were really helpful to me. And let's see, for the faithful performance of his duties, the finance secretary shall receive such compensation as the membership shall from time to time determine. And basically what that is that sometimes our local is able to get a bonus. If we're able to get a bonus, the finance secretary would be entitled to that also. For instance, we get a Christmas bonus. So if the membership approves it. So, finance secretary, we have our perks. We would be in on that as well. But all I can say is the job has been so rewarding for me. I went through all of the duties that it entails. Now with me, I'm just gonna give you a personal background with me. Like I said, I have customer service background, and customer service is something that you definitely gonna need working on this job, because you're working with the membership, you are working with the vendors, the shipping companies, and your staff, the officers and staff. So customer service comes in handy. Answering the phones, typing, knowing the computer. A high school diploma, definitely you have to have. Some college is great. You don't have to have a degree in accounting or anything like that, but if you do, that's wonderful. But just know, even if you have a degree in accounting, you're not just crunching numbers all day. You are dealing with people as well. This job is you're the office manager, you're the financial secretary, you're the secretary. So I'm doing all those different things. I do have some I have college behind me. I've taken all of the managerial accounting, all of the different accounting courses, and it's good to have those things because when you have your CPA in or your accountant in, or if you have to do the books yourself, then you kind of know and understand. We also have an annual CPA auditor that's separate that comes in, and they do the yearly audits. They will send their reports through, and they want, as the financial secretary treasurer, for me to be able to read through those reports and make sure they're correct and they're okay. So it's good to have that accounting background behind you so you can know something about what's going on. We also have LM2 reports. We have 940 reports. We have 990 reports. We have 941 reports. We're working with the IRS, but we also have, because we have an accountant and a CPA. They normally do those reports for me so that I don't have to really worry about those type of reports. This is when their expertise comes in, and I basically handle the day to day that goes on with the monies for the local, for the membership, and taking care of the union. Let's see. Employment verifications, that is something that I have to do. With this type of job, our hours vary. Like, I normally come in at a certain time, but it's not always going to be that time. Sometimes you may have to stay longer. Sometimes you can be here, because if we have an election, the financial secretary is right in on that election if an election is coming up, and we have to coordinate with the election committee and making sure that all the members have been vetted and they're in good standings. And so if you're used to getting off at, let's say, 5 or 6 o'clock, you can be here to 9, 10 o'clock, midnight. I can tell you, when I first started, I was in here sometime to midnight. So it could just, it varies. You just have to be flexible with this job also. Typing skills, computer skills are greatly, that's something that's needed, unless you just have a secretary that can do all that work for you. But it's good to know how to type. It's good to know some basic computer skills. Of course, it's good to know math skills. Organize it. This office, you gotta be organized. I have books that I have to keep. I have binders of books, and um, you have to keep things in order, because at any time we may have to pull things not only for ourselves but for the CPA and the accountant. We have to pull things for the Department of Labor. We have to pull information for the membership, for the auditors, for the auditors that do the yearly reports. So you have to be organized. You got to be able to put your hands on things and pull it right away. So that is a skill that's greatly needed. For instance, right now we're up under COVID-19, and so we're trying to get some monies back. We've been spending quite a bit of money out on supplies and nurses and things like that. So I'm having to compile all those things together, as well as we're doing our annual audit. Auditors can't come in here, so this office, me being the finance secretary treasurer, I'm having to make sure I pull all those things and scan them in to the CPA so that they have that information to do their annual audit, because they can't come in our office due to COVID-19. Also, we're trying to, like I say, get some type of help, because we've been spending a lot of money out on medical supplies for the membership in the union, and also with nurses and things. So I'm trying to even compile all that information up, so if there is an assistance that we can get, we'll have reports for that, financial things in order. And I need to be able to go straight to it, put my hands on it, and do those things. You can't have I can't have things all over the place, so that's when order comes in place. My president comes in and he says, Jan, I need to see this, or I need you to give me that concerning the finances. I need to be able to put my hands on it so I can have that for him and not have to take all day or not know what things are. So having that organizational skill is great to have. And like I said, if they have training, a lot of times our district will have training classes, our international will have training classes, and my president makes sure I can go to those. It's not a lot, but taking advantage of those are great. Taking advantage of books that's out there, taking advantage of videos, customer service, greatly needed. And if you just have all those things, boy, you're gonna enjoy this job. I love it. I love coming to my job every single day. I did not know I was going to end up being a financial secretary treasurer, but I do love it, I must say, and you too will love it as well. So if this is something that's in you and you're wanting to do it, you now know some of the things that come along with some of the duties that come along with doing it. All I can say is go for it, enjoy yourself, and good luck to you. And if in any way I can ever be of assistance to you, please reach out to me and just let me know. You have a great day and be blessed. Bye bye.